The road had been mine longer than any of them had lived there. That wasn't pride talking. It was a fact, etched into county records, property deeds, and the cracked asphalt itself. A narrow, winding stretch of blacktop that cut through the woods like a scar, connecting my house to the main highway. I'd paid for it. I'd maintained it. I'd plowed it every winter, patched it every spring, and watched the trees grow taller along its edges year after year. When I bought the land, the realtor had called it a liability. "You sure you want a private road?" she asked. I smiled and said, "I like knowing who comes and goes." Back then it was quiet. Just me, the forest, and the road. Then the HOA came. They arrived the way ants do, slow at first, almost polite. A sign went up at the far end of my road one morning. "Coming soon. Willow Ridge Estates Luxury Living. Community Values." I remember staring at it with my coffee going cold in my hands. The sign was staked into my land. 6 feet past the survey marker I knew by heart. I took it down that same afternoon. 2 days later, it was back. Bigger. That should have been my warning. The first letter arrived 3 months later. Cream-colored envelope.
Embosed logo.
Smelled faintly of cologne and entitlement. "Dear resident, we are pleased to inform you that Willow Ridge Homeowners Association has assumed responsibility for roadway access servicing the Willow Ridge development." I stopped reading right there. Assumed responsibility. I repeated out loud, tasting the words.
No signature. No explanation.
Just a cheerful paragraph about community cohesion and shared infrastructure. According to them, my private road was now a community access road. I laughed. Actually laughed. Loud enough that a crow on the porch railing startled and flew off. They had to be joking. I wrote back.
Short.
Polite. Professional. This road is privately owned. Enclosed are copies of the deed and county survey. You do not have permission to use, alter, or manage it. I even included my phone number. They never called. The changes begin. The next change was subtle. New tire marks. Not the occasional contractor or lost delivery driver that had always happened. These were patterns. Morning traffic. Evening traffic. Minivans. SUVs. Commuters. Then came the speed bumps. I almost broke my axle the first time I hit one. Bright yellow. Fresh paint. Installed overnight. On my road. I got out of the car and stood there, hands on my hips, staring at it like it might explain itself. There was a small white HOA sticker slapped on the side. My chest felt tight. I called the number on the letterhead. Straight to voicemail. I emailed. No response. By the end of the week, there were streetlights. Solar-powered, tasteful, and absolutely not mine. They didn't ask. They didn't negotiate. They just took. And the thing about entitlement is that it grows bolder when it isn't challenged. Meeting the HOA, I finally met them in person on a Saturday morning. I was repairing a drainage ditch when 3 people approached, 2 men and a woman, all wearing matching polos with the Willow Ridge logo stitched over the heart. The woman smiled like she was paid per tooth. "Good morning," she chirped. "Are you the homeowner here?" I wiped my hands on my jeans. "I'm the owner of this road." Her smile didn't flicker. That should have scared me more than it did. "I'm Karen," she said. "Yes, actually Karen, president of the Willow Ridge HOA." One of the men stepped forward. Clipboard. Sunglasses. The posture of someone who'd never been told no. "We just wanted to touch base," he said, "about ongoing maintenance. Residents have expressed concerns about potholes." "My road," I said again. Slowly. Karen nodded sympathetically. "Right, but it's serving the community now."
No. Irraplia.
"It's being used by your community. Without permission." She tilted her head. "Our legal team disagrees." I felt something shift inside me then. Not anger, not yet. Something colder. "Show me the paperwork," I said. She smiled again. "We'll email it." They left without another word. The email never came. When the fence went up 2 weeks later. A gate, actually. Metal. Automatic. With a keypad. On my road. I came home late that night to find it closed. Locked. A small sign bolted to the side. Willow Ridge residents only towing enforced. I just sat there in my car, engine idling, staring at it. For a long moment, I thought this was some elaborate mistake. A misunderstanding that had spiraled out of control. Then I noticed the camera. Red light blinking. Watching me. Something snapped. I got out, grabbed my bolt cutters from the trunk, and cut the power cable. The gate opened with a slow, whining protest. I drove through. The next morning, there was a citation taped to my door. Unauthorized tampering with HOA property. I laughed again. Then I stopped laughing. The lawsuit that wasn't. I hired a lawyer. A good one. He leaned back in his chair, flipping through documents, eyebrows climbing higher with every page. HOA took my road without asking, so I vanished every one of their cars. They don't have a leg to stand on, he said. This is absurd. So we sue? I said. He hesitated. We could, but they're counting on something.
What?
You getting tired? He was right. They dragged it out. Delayed filings. Changed attorneys. Requested extensions. Meanwhile, they paved over my old asphalt, widened the road, painted lines, added signage. They transformed it. And somehow, the county records began to change. I checked one morning and felt my stomach drop. The road's designation had shifted from private to community access. Illegally. Quietly. Erased with a keystroke. That was the day I realized this wasn't about a road. It was about power. The first car vanished on a Tuesday. A white Tesla. Parked neatly in a driveway at Willow Ridge. Security footage showed it pulling in at 6:12 p.m. At 6:13, it was gone.
No tow truck.
No sound. Just absence. The HOA group chat exploded. Stolen. Kidnapped. Organized crime. I watched from my porch as patrol cars rolled down my road, lights flashing blue and red against the trees. No one knocked on my door. Not yet. I sipped my coffee and smiled. Because they had no idea. This was only the beginning. By Thursday morning, Willow Ridge sounded wrong. That might seem like a strange thing to notice, but when you live next to a place long enough, you learn its rhythm. The soft whine of engines at dawn. Doors slamming. Radios murmuring. Tires crunching over gravel. That morning there was nothing. No early commuters. No soccer moms. No delivery vans.
Just birds. Wind.
Silence. I stood on my porch with my coffee and listened to the absence like it was a confession. HOA took my road without asking, so I vanished every one of their cars. HOA took my road without asking, so I vanished every one of their cars. HOA took my road without asking, so I vanished every one of their cars. The HOA Facebook group went public by noon. Someone leaked screenshots, and they spread like wildfire through the local community pages. Has anyone else had their car disappear? This is the third one on Oak Loop. Police say no signs of towing. Is this some kind of prank? I scrolled slowly, calmly. 7 cars gone by lunchtime. All different makes. All different owners. All parked overnight inside Willow Ridge. None touched outside the development. I noticed something else too, something no one else seemed to see. Every single missing car belonged to a household that had signed the HOA petition to formalize ownership of the road. Karen's name appeared again and again in the comments, trying and failing to sound in control. Please remain calm. We are working closely with law enforcement. She turned comments off an hour later. The first knock, they finally came for me that evening. Not the police.
Karen.
She didn't bring the clipboard guy this time. Just one other man, tall, broad, jaw clenched so tight it looked painful. She knocked like she owned the place. I opened the door slowly, deliberately, as if surprised. Oh, I said. Karen. Her smile was gone. May we come in? She asked.
No, iraplia.
The man beside her bristled. This is serious. So is trespassing, I said pleasantly. Karen exhaled. We believe you're involved in what's happening. I leaned against the doorframe. Believe whatever you like. You've threatened legal action, she said. You've sabotaged HOA property. I protected my private road. I corrected. Her eyes hardened. Cars are missing. Yes, I agreed. I heard. You're the only person who benefits from this chaos. I laughed. I don't benefit.
I'm inconvenienced.
Just like you've inconvenienced me. Silence stretched between us. Then she said it. If you return the vehicles, she said quietly, we can discuss compensation. I tilted my head. Return them from where? Her jaw tightened. The man stepped forward. You think you're untouchable. I smiled. I said, you should leave my property. They did. But not before Karen looked back at me and said, this won't end well for you. I closed the door gently. Oh, I whispered to the empty hallway. It already has. How to make something disappear? People always imagine disappearance as something dramatic. Smoke, explosions, darkness. The truth is, the most effective vanishing acts are boring, methodical, quiet. You remove one assumption at a time until reality collapses under its own confusion. That's all I did. I didn't steal their cars. I unmade their certainty about where things could exist. The road remembers. Here's something most people don't know about land. It remembers every footstep, every tire, every claim made upon it. When the HOA paved over my asphalt, they thought they were improving it, making it theirs. They didn't realize they were sealing something in. Underneath the new blacktop was the old road, the one I built, the one registered to my name, the one that had been surveyed, mapped, and documented down to the inch. Ownership isn't just legal, it's conceptual, and concepts are fragile. By Sunday night, 23 cars were gone. Luxury SUVs, pickup trucks, motorcycles, even a vintage Mustang someone had posted about constantly. The police were overwhelmed. Insurance companies started pushing back. Claims were denied pending investigation. Residents stopped sleeping. Some sat on their porches all night, watching their driveways like guards at a tomb. It didn't matter. The cars vanished whether anyone was watching or not. Cameras caught nothing. Motion sensors didn't trigger. One moment the cars were there. The next, the driveway was empty, clean, like nothing had ever rested there at all. They held the emergency meeting in the community clubhouse. I watched it online. Karen stood at the front, visibly strained, hair pulled too tight, voice cracking despite her effort to sound authoritative. This is unprecedented, she said. But we are taking action. Someone shouted, what action? Another voice yelled, we should never have touched that road. Karen's head snapped up. That road serves the community, she said sharply. A man stood. It wasn't ours. Applause. Fear does that, it clarifies things. Karen raised her hands. Please. We are pursuing all legal remedies. A woman near the back screamed, my minivan is gone, Karen. The meeting dissolved into shouting. I closed the stream and leaned back in my chair. They were finally listening. Monday morning, a surveyor arrived. He parked at the edge of my road, clipboard in hand, boots clean enough to betray his inexperience. I walked down to meet him.
Morning, I said. He jumped.
I'm here on behalf of Willow Ridge HOA. Of course you are. He swallowed. They want the boundaries reconfirmed. I nodded. I already know them. He hesitated. They say there's ambiguity. I smiled and handed him a folder. Original deeds, survey maps, county filings, photographs dating back decades. His eyes widened as he flipped through. This is, he murmured. This is very clear. Yes, I said. It always was. He packed up early. Didn't even finish his coffee. That night, Karen sent me an email. Not legal. Not official. Personal. You've made your point. Please stop.
No apology. No acknowledgement.
Just a request. I didn't reply. Instead, I walked down my road. The lights they installed flickered softly. The paint lines glowed pale under the moon. I knelt and placed my hand on the asphalt. I remember, I whispered. The road hummed beneath my palm. When the cars came back, the cars returned on Wednesday. All of them. Every missing vehicle reappeared in its original driveway. No damage.
No explanation.
Just back. Residents cried. hugged, laughed hysterically. Karen issued a statement blaming a temporary administrative error and external interference. No one believed her. 2 days later, the gate disappeared. So did the speed bumps, the signs, the cameras. The county records quietly reverted. And the road, my road, was private again. People still ask me if I know what happened. I tell them no. I tell them roads are strange things. They connect places, but they also remember boundaries. And if you cross one without permission, sometimes the land reminds you who owns it. The road was quiet again. Not the peaceful kind of quiet. This was the kind that comes after a fight, when everyone's pretending nothing happened, but nobody's forgotten a single word. Cars moved carefully now, slowly, like the asphalt might bite back. People avoided my house, not out of hostility, out of fear. I'd catch them glancing toward the trees when they passed, like they expected the forest itself to testify against them. Rumors filled the gap, where certainty used to live. What people said, they said, I was a hacker. They said I had connections. They said I built an underground garage and stole the cars piece by piece. Someone claimed I used magnets. Another swore I had access to a military prototype. My favorite rumor. He doesn't move the cars. He moves the space they're in. That one got whispered, late at night, behind closed doors. Karen didn't let it go. Karen didn't lose power gracefully. She smiled at meetings again, hosted bake sales, posted inspirational quotes in the HOA group. But I could feel her attention on me like pressure behind the eyes. People like Karen don't see boundaries as rules. They see them as challenges. 3 weeks after the cars returned, I got a certified letter. Not from the HOA. From the county. Eminent domain notice of public hearing regarding proposed infrastructure acquisition. They were trying to take the road legally. Eminent domain. Public interest. Emergency access. I read it twice, then a third time. Clever. Dirty. Effective on paper. I laughed softly and poured another cup of coffee. So this was her last move. The hearing the rooms smelled like carpet cleaner and bad decisions. County officials sat at the front. Karen sat in the first row, hands folded, posture perfect. She didn't look at me. That was new. They talked about growth, safety, fire access, community benefit. Then they asked if I had anything to say. I stood. I built that road, I said. Paid for it. Maintained it. Protected it. Karen sighed loudly. The HOA altered records. I continued. Installed infrastructure illegally. Restricted my access to my own property. Murmurs. I laid copies of the evidence on the table. Then I added something new. A forensic report. The room shifted. This, I said, details unauthorized access to county databases. Timestamped. Logged. Traced. Karen finally looked at me. Her face was pale. I smiled. You didn't just trespass on my land, I said calmly. You trespassed on systems that remember better than roads do. The hearing ended early. Very early. It happened quietly. No sirens. No spectacle. Karen didn't show up to the next HOA meeting. Someone said she was taking time off. Someone else said her email bounced. By Friday, the truth leaked. Federal charges. Data tampering. Fraud. Conspiracy. Turns out when you rewrite reality long enough, someone notices the seams. The HOA without a head, without Karen. Willow Ridge unraveled fast. Committees quit. Dues went unpaid. Lawsuits surfaced. Old ones, buried ones. Ones Karen had handled. Neighbors turned on each other. The board dissolved. The gate never came back. And no one ever suggested touching my road again. A month later, a man in a gray suit came to my door. Government. Not local. He was polite. Careful. May I ask you a question, he said. You can ask, I replied. Did you remove those vehicles? I met his eyes. No, I said truthfully. He studied my face for a long moment. Then he nodded. That's what the evidence says. He left without another word. What I learned, people think ownership is about documents. It isn't. It's about enforcement. about who notices when something changes, about who remembers the original shape of things. The HOA thought land was passive. They thought systems were static. They thought power was permanent. They were wrong. Epilogue: the road is quieter now than it ever was. Not empty, just respectful. And sometimes, late at night, when a car slows too much near my driveway, I feel the asphalt hum faintly beneath the tires. A reminder. This road knows who it belongs to. Small towns don't forget. They pretend to. They smile, wave, hold barbecues, but memory sinks into the soil, into the cracks of sidewalks, into the way people lower their voices when certain names come up. Willow Ridge became one of those names.
So did mine.
At first, people told the story like gossip. You hear about the HOA lady. Yeah, messed with the wrong guy. Cars just gone. Like magic. Then it shifted. The details blurred. The facts softened. The truth became inconvenient. Soon it wasn't me anymore. It was the road. They said the land was cursed. They said the developer ignored warnings. They said an old easement dispute had never been settled. People like explanations that don't point fingers. Real estate listings don't mention fear homes in Willow Ridge started selling.
Cheap.
Listings avoided words like private road or HOA history. They focused on quiet neighborhood and unique charm. Buyers came. Buyers left. Some stayed, but they learned quickly. Don't park overnight near the edge. Don't block the road. Don't talk about what happened. And above all, don't ask me questions. The new families one evening. A moving truck rolled in. New people.
Kids.
Bright energy.
Hope.
They waved. I waved back. A week later, the husband came by, awkward smile, hands shoved in his pockets. Hey, he said. So, is it true? I raised an eyebrow. Is what true? He hesitated. About the cars. I considered lying. Instead, I said, respect the road, and it'll respect you. He nodded like he understood. He did. What the road became, the county quietly reclassified it again. Protected access way. A category so rare it barely existed. No modifications without my consent.
No saini.
No infrastructure changes. The road had legal standing now. Like a person. I framed the document and hung it in my hallway. Kids are the worst at keeping secrets. They started daring each other to step off the road at night. They swore the air felt thicker. That phone's lost signal. That footsteps echoed wrong. Parents blamed imagination. No one said it. Not out loud. She became the former president. Or that situation. Or just before. I looked her up once. Federal case sealed. Assets frozen. Career gone. She tried to own something that couldn't be owned the way she wanted. Power doesn't like competition. The last rumor reached me through a gas station clerk. You live by that road, right?
Yes.
He leaned in. They say it's awake now. I smiled. It always was. Final scene one night. Years later, a black SUV stopped at the gate that no longer existed. Engine running. Driver hesitating. Then slowly it reversed and turned around. I watched from my porch until the taillights vanished. The road lay quiet beneath the moon. Satisfied.